Anybody look at this clock?
Yes, the last time I came in this room, there was another group here when it was on the list that the group that I was in was supposed to be here. And I watched this select board chair. This is our, room. It was so funny.
Who's doing minutes?
I do.
I think, am I doing, did I say I was gonna do it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll do it.
You did, because Bud's doing it in June,
Okay.
If no one's doing it,
and we don't have.
unless someone else wants to.
I don't
do
wanna
it,
have to
and
do it.
I'll-
No.
I'll let you do it. Come on.
I like hearing it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how good they'll be, but,
I'll do it if you do the annual report.
oh, there we go. Okay, I'm doing minutes. That sounds much.
Actually, there's
Okay,
a.
do we need to do the roll call?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
I don't-
Yeah,
Oh,
because we know that they can hear us, because we've already confirmed.
Okey doke.
But if you vote, you have to roll call on that.
Okay.
But you can open the meeting.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming tonight. Justine, welcome. Thank you. The Human Rights Committee. Thank you.
Eight.
Katie, you will be,
I'm just trying to be a quorum.
do we, Marlene?
Yeah.
Do we, okay, Katie, thank you so much for all of that you have done for us, shepherding us through the last few years. I feel like the last 4 years in the human rights world has been notable, to say the least.
Yeah.
So it's not a sleepy time, and we really appreciated being here and being patient and doing such a good job kind of getting us all to the table
Thank you.
on all sides.
I have really enjoyed this committee and working with all of you, and I know I'm gonna see you all, so I'm like, I'm just like, I'll see you next meeting, not this meeting, but something else, but you're in very good hands, Justine's amazing, so,
Thank you, Kate.
yeah,
Excellent work as always.
thank you, appreciate it.
Okay, I know we've got a lot to talk about, so why don't we get started? Has everybody had a chance to look at the April 2024 minutes?
yes.
And are there any edits that anybody wants to?
I already did mine and she made them, so.
Okay. Thank you, Marlene, for doing these. Is there a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second,
Okay. All right, so the motion is to accept the minutes. Tina,
Yes.
Are you, do you have to do roll call for that? Oh, you do? Okay.
Cynthia,
yes.
Marlene,
Yes.
Amelia,
Yes.
Bud here yet? It doesn't look like.
No.
Okay. Keith,
Yes.
Carrie,
I was not there, so.
okay. Greg,
Yes,
Emmy,
Yes.
Pid,
Yes.
and I also was not here, so I would stay.
And Jen, I think I wasn't here either. Can I take it back or then take back some of this?
I think so.
I just was excited. I'm always excited to vote. It's always nice to vote.
Yeah.
Never miss an election. That's what I say.
When you're civic duty.
That's right.
Gotta check
Yes.
this guy.
That's right.
Okay.
It's been one of those years. Not, I was gonna say day, but it's been a year.
Okay, now we've got all the giggles out, we can move to the public comment time. And I just, before we bring people over, I just want to kind of remind everybody that the point of the public participation is not necessarily to solve a problem. It's for us to get information, ask clarifying questions, and try to find out what the speaker is trying to let us know about. From what I understand of what we're gonna be talking about, I don't think it's gonna be something that we're gonna be able to resolve right here at the moment. But hopefully we can ask good questions and try to figure out what information we need to decide what kind of next steps we might want to take. And with that, I think we could get started.
Sure. I'll bring over Leah.
Hi there. Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can now.
Hi. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much
It's
for coming.
It's a really great opportunity to talk about my incident. I prefer to do it by myself and not, someone else talking about it. I hope you can hear me well.
We can,
Um,
yeah.
Yes.
My name is Liat Sudri. I've been living in Needham for the past 3 years. I have 3 kids under the age of 10. 2 of them attend the Needham Public School. I'm an active member of the PTC of the Room Parents. Before the incident, I had a really good experience in Needham. I was really feeling part of the community, safe and happy to be here. Almost 2 weeks ago, my middle son, she's almost 8, saw a note stick to her fence, and he called out to my husband. My husband came to see the note, and my son's first question was, what is the meaning of Intifada? So the note that we found on our house was not the only one. There were many notes all around the streets. I live on Central Ave. There were notes also on Honeywell Street. We weren't only the house that was target. There was another house with another note. I don't know if they reached out to the police. Just to give some context to the committee, Intifada in Arab means rebellion. For us, the people who lived it every day, the meaning is suicide bombing, running over people with tractors, stabbing people in the streets. So I know it by firsthand, unfortunately. And after this incident, my kids and I started to feel afraid to be in Needham. We installed more cameras around the house. We check the cameras every time before we go out of the house, every day before we go to sleep, every morning that we wake up. Our kids are asking us questions, why people hate us, why people target us.
That vehicle.
Sorry?
To the RO.
Sorry, my radio is going on.
Oh.
I just turned it down, sorry.
I get questions from my kids about all the notes. Some of them were not only against Jewish families, but also general notes. I feel like we shouldn't be targeted just because we have blue ribbons on our house and signs calling to be united against anti-Semitism. I think it's part of our right to express, our opinion, and it's nothing against America. And we really feel like we can't feel inclusive in this community when we are targeted and when something like this happens. I must say that the police did react, for at least we were satisfied with their reaction. We also got a follow-up phone call from them. And I know that now the state police is investigating this case. But still, for my kids and for myself, we don't feel safe here anymore. And this is really unfortunate, in my opinion.
I'm so sorry that happened.
Yeah, I'm really sorry that happened.
Thank you for sharing it with us. I'm sure it's not easy to talk about.
Not at all. I mean, I'm holding myself from crying, but I don't think that any kids deserve to feel hate, and any kids not deserve to feel unsafe. And I'm really shocked that this is part of Needham community. I mean, I couldn't imagine in my worst nightmare that this will be part of my life.
Were there cameras in the community? Do you have any idea who did this?
No, we don't have any idea. There was another house where they stole signs from the front yard, but this man did not have cameras. The place where the notes was stick to our fence was without camera recording. It was in a blind spot of the camera. Now we have more cameras because we are terrified, but I guess it's too late for that. We asked neighbor, no one saw it on the cameras. We asked the police to reach out to the school. We live across a school. They said that the cameras are not towards our house, so it's hard to see who went there. We don't know. I wish we would know. I mean, it would make everything more easier, right? We can go to the police with the picture and I'm sure that they will do their job, but we don't know. And this is why we are afraid, because we don't know when will be the next time. I don't let my kids go outside alone, which is ridiculous. I have almost 10 years old. He should be able to go to his friends who lives 3 blocks from my house. And I don't know, I mean, I wake up at night checking the cameras.
That sounds constant. I don't know if this is part of what you've been thinking about, but are there things that you think the community could do to respond that might help support how you guys are feeling?
To be honest, I don't know. I wish I would see more houses with signs against anti-Semitism, against Islamophobia. I wish that the town would say more about it. I think I saw that, for example, I saw the police do like a report on the Facebook group telling about hates that or crimes that were committed. This was not posted as a hate crime. I wish it would be like that. I mean, you know, it's easier for me to stand behind shadows and no one will see me. But I want the community to react for this incident and to make sure I can feel safe and my kids can feel safe.
Where do you live? Do you live on Central?
Yes,
And you said it's across from the school? I'm not familiar.
yes, Sonita Williams. The
Oh,
elementary.
it's right across from Sunita Williams. Wow. Yeah. So, okay.
How did your neighbors respond?
Sorry?
How did your neighbors respond? Did they have any reaction to what happened?
So my closest neighbor is not, unfortunately. I posted a post on the Needham Facebook group. I got a lot of comments. All of them are supportive. I got some private messages from people that lives on Central Ave. And this is how I realized that there were more notes because I didn't know about it until then. And then one of my neighbors, she's living not on Central, but on one of the other streets that cross Central. She told me, here is a bunch of notes that I found. And I also reported to the police. And I was shocked because I thought that only our house was targeted. But now I realize it's something on stop signs, on crossroads, on, you know, public space. And also our house, which is pretty obvious for me because they saw the ribbons, they saw the signs. They probably realized it's a Jewish family house. And they, you know, had the guts to post this note on my fence.
Did they remove the signs?
Sorry?
Did they remove the signs or touch the signs?
No.
And did you leave them up? Out of curiosity?
Yes. Yes. I mean, I don't want to hide my identity or my.
I 100% agree with you. I would leave, yeah.
I can tell you that almost a month ago, I had another sign, United Against Anti-Semitism, and we thought that the wind took it, but now I'm not sure that the wind took it. I guess that it was maybe the same person, but maybe another person, because this Saturday, one of my neighbors, who is also Jewish, who had 2 signs, those were stolen for sure. So, I mean, it's someone who is systematically taking signs, entering private property, which I guess is also something against the law, posting notes on private properties. I don't know. I mean, I don't know when he's doing that, if other people sees him or not. I really want to believe that if someone saw him, he should have stopped him and say, hey, you're not welcome in our city. That's my opinion, but I don't know.
Jen, can I ask, can we ask the Office of Belinda if about the investigation I assume is happening? Is Needham Police investigating this to try to, I mean, I can imagine it's difficult to find unless it's on video, right? But
Belinda, you're muted.
Muted, Belinda.
So I haven't read the detective's follow-up report yet, but in conversation with the chief, he said that they have been working on it. I believe they reached out to all the victims to speak with you. And it's through you saying that they reached out to the state police. I haven't corresponded. I came in late today with the chief today. But they are actively working on that.
Belinda, could you remind us, for information, what would constitute a hate crime compared to what it was that was reported?
So the hate crime is specific to the group. And so that's what is implied by these stickers that were placed on your fence.
So it sounds like, though, that what she said was that it was declared not a hate crime, or did I mishear that?
I don't believe it was specified one way or the other. And in your, speaking of the Facebook and it not being declared a hate crime, I'll speak to the chief about that tomorrow, but I'm not going to speak, as to why they did or didn't do something. I'm not in charge of the social media.
I noted by the police it's defined as a hate crime because they, as far as I understood from the officer that talked with us, it was transferred to the state police. So this is my understanding. It was recorded as a hate crime.
Oh, it was. I'm sorry. I thought you said that. I thought I heard.
It wasn't published on the Facebook group of the Needham police as a hate crime, but it was recorded as a hate crime.
So
Sorry.
I don't read all the logs posted on Facebook. So I'll have to go back on that to see. And then, like I stated, I'll speak with the chief about it.
Thank you.
And have you heard from the state police? Have they been in touch with you, Leah?
They just called us 2 days ago and they told us it will take a couple of weeks. They're trying to identify fingerprints and stuff like this. I guess it won't, it takes some time.
Yeah.
But we're waiting for an update. They said that they will call us in a couple of weeks.
Leah, in terms of other groups in town who have had similar experiences, are you familiar with the Muslim Needham Neighbors group?
So my son goes to a class with a Muslim family. They play together, they're friends. I mean, we raise their kids not to see color, not to see race, not to see nationality. That's how we educated our kids. I don't want them to stay away from Arab or Islam or Muslim families. I don't have, specific issues with specific families. I just want my house to be safe. That's it. I mean, my house and my town. That's all.
I'm curious, are there any cameras in the area that may have recorded any of this that you know of or that the police know of?
We talked about it
We already
earlier.
talked about that, Bud.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, I wondered if I could say something. But thank you so much for bringing this to us because sadly, we know that you're not the only one. I mean, you found that out from when you posted. I'm on the Needham Facebook, so I did see that, and it made me feel very distressed that that was happening to you and that it was happening in our community. And sadly, this is happening in a lot of communities. But I hear you saying it might feel, we might or might not find out who the person is, but the fact that it's happening makes not only you, but other people who've had it happen or see it happening feel unsafe. So that says to me, it goes beyond just you as an individual, and that you're saying, what can we do as a community to speak out against this and against Islamophobia and anything that is targeting people in this very volatile time. Do I hear that right? That's one of the
Yes.
things you're hoping that by speaking up.
Yeah,
Thank
it's one thing to see it on campuses and on official protests. I don't get into this issue, but seeing it in my town, in my house, in my community, the larger community of Needham and also the Jewish community of Needham, that's really disturbing. I mean, that's not a legit way to express your opinion in my thoughts, I mean, from my perspective.
Yeah, can I just say too, I mean, I think. I know you described it as it's brave or brazen for somebody to post notes like this, but it's to me the ultimate form of cowardice. And what you're doing, bringing it to our attention, coming on this meeting is exactly what bravery is. So I hope that you know that, you know, this room and your community don't feel, you know, that what's being done to you is any place in this town. And I don't think anyone in this room or on this call or the majority of the town feels this way. And I don't think we'll stand for it. We want to do something.
Thank you. That means a lot for me. I really appreciate that.
And I just want to say too, Leah, that if you hear anything outside, don't hesitate to call us. That's why we're here. Regardless of the time of day or night, we're always around. So we have a great working relationship with all members of the community, and we like to uphold that and work with everyone. So never hesitate. I say that all the time. I don't care how little the sound may be. If it's 3 o'clock in the morning, we're open 24/7. So never hesitate.
Thanks.
Leah, would you be open to us following up with you after this meeting to talk with you further?
Of course, yeah. Tina has my email address, so feel free to reach out. If needed, I would be happy to join another meeting if you're looking to take more actions. If something is needed from our side, I'd be happy to take part. This is really important for me, as I don't know his name, but as he mentioned, it took a lot of courage to do that.
Absolutely.
But I stand behind it. I mean, in all the meanings of it. So yeah.
Is there anything else that you want us to know?
Not really. I think that's a lot, right? I think that's.
And we will
also-
get back to you.
Sorry?
We will get back to you.
Yes.
Yeah, this is not just a one and done kind of thing. We want you to, we appreciate your coming, but we'll discuss it in the committee and we'll, not that we can solve it, but we want to support you and we want you to know that we're here for you. I don't know that that helps you from not being afraid. I don't know how you deal with that on a minute by minute basis. I wish there was something we could do about that, but very frightening, very sorry for you.
I wish, it's not myself, it's not my husband. I wish my kids will feel safe. That's the most important thing for me. And not only my kids, the entire kids of Needham, no matter what race, no matter what nationality. I mean, we should be an inclusive environment. Right?
Yeah. And are your kids able to go to school? Do they feel safe?
Yeah,
enough?
they go to school, but they don't go by themselves. I mean, we watch them every time.
Yeah.
And we tell them to stay safe and be careful and not explore and not mention their identity and not mention their nationality or religion, anything. Just speak English and, don't tell anyone about yourself. That's it, which is also pretty ridiculous because
Absolutely
terrible.
ridiculous.
That's
Yeah, it's not fair and it doesn't feel comfortable at all.
I mean, we should welcome diversity, right? And not refrain from talking about it. That's my feelings.
Can I ask just one more question? Leah, do you feel supported at school? Do you feel like
I can see her look.
you don't
Want
have
my
to say-
honest answer?
Well, we do, but I don't want to ask you a question that's uncomfortable, but I think when we talk about this after this call, it'd be helpful to know, where kind of the weaknesses are, where the areas that we can help.
Yeah, are there any specific examples at school that you felt not supported or?
I mean, I don't want to go into too much details, but because we are known as Israeli family and not only a Jewish family, I was expecting the school to reach out after October 7th massacre and talk with us, but no one did it. I mean, my family back there is in a war zone. So I would expect the school principal, the teachers of my kids, you know, even just writing an email, how are you? Are you safe? Is everyone okay? That's the minimum in my opinion. But when we come to conferences and stuff like this, they do ask. But I feel like it's too little. That's my feelings.
Mm.
And it's not only in Sonita, I heard it from other families in other schools. I mean, we like Sonita, but we don't necessarily feel 100% part of it. That's my,
And are you the only Israeli family at Sunita?
no.
And do you know if any of the other Israeli families were reached out to by any of the administration or teachers in the school?
I know maybe one or two. I think we are, don't take me by the word, but I think we are like 17 families, Israeli families in Sonita Williams. Maybe I heard of one or two that were reached out by the school. And I'm not talking about a general statement. It's a more, you know, it should be more personal, reaching out, asking, are you safe? I don't want to, you know, we don't want to enter to politics when it comes to school, but we do want to know that the kids and the families are doing okay and, you know, they're not harmed or something.
So often the kids display the best behavior anyways, right? Usually with each other there, like the example we saw at the high school. Yeah, it was really something.
Oh, with the two groups. that
Yeah, with the
did
groups that did the bake sale,
yeah.
yeah, which was really amazing. Dr. Goodikins posted that, it was moving to see.
At the high school, the Jewish Student Union and the Muslim Student Union, they got together and they had a bake sale to raise money for the children in Gaza and the children in Israel whose made family or hostages, or I can't remember.
Yeah.
precisely. And then they made a symbol together about their care for children in the world.
Maybe our hope comes from our kids. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
That's right.
Did you say that geographically it happened beyond just kind of the Sunita Williams neighborhood? Is
Yes.
it, was it
It
in
was
other?
on entire Central Ave, Honeywell
Oh.
Street, which crossed Central Ave, but not far than that. I'm not aware of other streets that were affected. But you know, I don't know, and everyone.
yeah,
And probably the police has more information if those people claimed and were reported about that, but that's what I know about.
Yeah, the only knowledge we have is Central Ave, Honeywell Street, so kind of that concentrated area, but like you said, did people report it? We don't know.
And this is also something that I try to do whenever I talk with neighbors. I tell them, if something happens, you should call the police, no matter how small the incident is. And I'm glad to hear that you're echoing me and saying, yes, you should call about everything, because every little piece of information might, you know, lead to the person who did it. I mean,
And I like it too, because A, it gets us out in the community more, and B, it's to stop it at a lower level.
Mhm.
Are there any other questions from anybody? Thank you so much for coming in. I'm in awe of your bravery and what I imagine it must take to get your kids ready for school and to put them out there in the world the way you're feeling. So I really thank you for sharing your story and helping us to understand it better.
thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity, and Tina for reaching out to me. I appreciate that.
and we won't forget.
Yeah.
We'll work on this.
We'll get back to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have another hand. Okay.
It doesn't. Yeah.
And just, Tina texted me that she was losing service, so she hopped off.
Seems
So,
like-
Bud,
Yes, I'd like to know, you know, the comment that you made about no one in the school being sensitive enough to the families and, what was happening after October. Should we be reaching out to the superintendent to see if it's something that the principals or the teachers that should be sensitive to all the students in their classrooms to, have a sensitivity to this? I'd be very interested, the next meeting or the next time we get together to know what the superintendent as well as the, school system, does for things like this.
Can I respond to that? I think what we know, the superintendent and the principals, what they wrote things. What she was saying is that she wished there had been a personal outreach to their family. So I think if we ask them what you did, they have done things. And there was that wonderful interview between with Dan Gudikant said, we want to know how we can support our families. And he brought in Rabbi Jay Perlman and Dr. Huma Farid, who's a Muslim representative on the Clergy Association. And it's one of the most incredible interviews that I've ever seen, the dialogue between them. And they've continued to be, well, they were both at a meeting on Tuesday when we were together. So I think she was saying the personal part, not, and that would be up to the individual like teacher.
But I think possibly in the appropriate way, we should give some feedback to the superintendent to pass on to schools as far as the sensitivity of families feeling, besides a statement being made, an actual outreach when something like this happens, whether it's to a Muslim family or someone from Israel, or what, that just the sensitivity really be raised from the teacher standpoint.
Just say, Liz Lee is committee's liaison here, and I think she said she couldn't make tonight, but she can watch the recording, so we can let the superintendent know, but Liz will also.
Good idea.
I think watch what Liat
I
said.
think he's chair of the school committee.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
is
right.
he? Yeah. So, a general comment, the group in Natick is called Natick is United. The way they were started is that there were a number of houses in Natick that had swastikas put on the windows. And so then people got together and came up with a sign that said Natick is United, and had the people pledged, they signed the commitment to maybe against that kind of behavior of whatever group was being targeted, and put signs in their window. And Wellesley did something that's called Wellesley Welcomes, has a sign with the W. And there are things that a community can do. And I Needham Diversity Initiative came up with a sign, but it didn't really get out much. It said Needham United Strength and Diversity, and it had the hands together, which is the logo. And we were trying, this was right after the October 6th, anyway, the October terrible event, 7th. Trying to find some way, some kind of sign, but it didn't really, lawn signs are not necessarily out very much, but it is something that some communities have done, and I'm not sure whether that's a way we want to think.
But I agree for now. I think she needs to individually feel supported. That's more of a communal piece, which is also important. And I'm not sure if it's the superintendent that we go to, but I think maybe it's the principal.
Yeah.
Because, the principals report to the superintendent, but the teachers report to the principal. Or maybe we just, talk to Liz and let see what she thinks. But something should be done sooner than later. I mean, right after October 7th, my next door neighbor came over and asked me if we were okay.
So did all of them.
Yeah,
And
I'm not as-
which was just, and I don't have any relatives or anybody living in Israel, but it was just being aware how the Jewish community feels, and it was really wonderful. I mean, he knocked on the door and just said, "Are you guys okay?" And that's probably one of the things that she'd like to know.
Right, and her neighbors said nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
I
that
did the
idea.
same thing about
What?
everybody.
I like that idea of the Natick United. That kind of, I don't know how hard it is to get something like that going, but that's like a,
Well, the Needham Diversity Initiative is was looking for a way to do that and. You know. if
yeah,
people
and
have
say like
ideas.
potentially, I know when the, you know, a lot of the signs came up that they were donating the money to charities if you bought signs. And then maybe this would be something if someone did it, would go to a specific charity to fight any kind of hate, you know?
Mhm.
So to raise money towards that, like a united front, I don't know.
And I think so many people want to do something, and maybe that's, I mean, I know what we're saying, it's, you know. Via was looking for something more personal, but. You know, the idea that the entire town, right, the Needham Diversity Initiative, the Human Rights Committee, the town. And to have an actual goal of raising funds to do something with, similar to what the one from what the kids did. I mean, that was an amazing thing that they did, and.
Yeah.
You know, if we could strive to be closer to that, that helps even just a tiny bit, you know, if those signs are out there. Then at least the perpetrators will be put on notice.
I think it's nice just to know that everybody knows we're united as a community, you know, like a community-based sign that's like,
Yeah.
you know, we're different, we're diverse, but we're together.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, we can be different and all feel safe and not have to worry, you know? I mean, I don't know her experience, but for me, when after October 7th, there was that day of rage.
Oh, yeah.
And when we went to school, we go to the JCC in Temple Beth Shalom, there was nobody there.
Right.
And there were police there and it was very scary.
Yeah, but.
And like, we felt like very nervous for a very long time.
Yeah.
You know, and we did have to sign up too, and we felt very nervous, and our neighbor came over and she's not Jewish and said, can I have a sign?
And I think, you know,
And she,
the police have been very supportive, which is great, but it takes more than them, right?
But then, yeah.
All of us, that's the
it
point.
feels like if everybody had something like a sign, you know, we want to support everybody.
Right.
We just want to feel safe.
I see somebody with a hand up. Yeah.
So I really feel how she feels, you know, I've had, you know, and the camera thing, immediately after that, we had like 10 I put 10 cameras all around our house. In every corner, I was scared, and my father-in-law was worried and scared, and he wanted to say, and I said, there shouldn't be that worry.
Yeah, no.
And it's like,
And to know that people who are the Muslim families feel very scared when they see some of the signs around that are supporting Israel, because some of the
Yeah.
people who have those signs are
well,
not
yeah.
feeling.
And I
are
want
feeling
that,
very
I want
angry
them to
toward-
feel very safe too.
Yeah.
The same exact thing. I want everybody to feel safe, you know?
Yeah.
You know,
And my
Actually-
husband and I were like seeing the signs that say united against no, anti-Semitism,
And Islamophobia.
Yeah.
Islamophobia.
We had
and
one of
like-
those on First Parish on their lawn.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and maybe, well, that's one kind of sign that's
Well,
crosses.
for a
over.
long time, there was the hate has no home here, everyone had.
Yeah, we still have those in
Yeah.
somebody's basement.
Then it is time for a renewed effort.
It could be something like that. It's very visual.
Yeah, right, exactly, and to get all the informations, you know, as much support, because I think so often, I think these, you know, we're sometimes we're operating in silos a little bit, right, where we have some people, you know, one group do one thing, one group do another, but if we all teamed up, it would actually really show the support.
You know, I was thinking the flags in town. Remember Natick did rainbow flags, I think.
Yeah.
So, you know, like where you can
Yeah.
put something like that, like in the
Yeah.
center.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah,
Hanging from.
there's the banners there, and they have the
Yeah.
one about the strength and diversity that NDI does, but. And in June, they'll have the pride.
Right, one, yeah.
thing or something.
But Jen, there's somebody
We do have,
for public comment.
yeah.
Hi, hello, thank you. My name is Ami. I just want, first of all, to say how much I appreciate this discussion. I'm also an Israeli American that live in the city, and I was just wanted to echo what Liat said. I was coming on the way to this meeting and found a sign next to my home now, just like I didn't even report the police yet because I was just finding it half hour ago.
Oh, no.
And that's the second one. One was on a stop sign like on Saturday, and now it's became closer to my home. So I just wanted to echo that it's not just Liat. I know that she said that she know other people, but I just wanted to connect another face and similar, very similar feelings to what she has. I heard, I don't know the name of the person that spoke, that he just put like a lot of camera. I'm now, while we're listening to you, was looking on like a online camera just because of that, which I never thought I would need to do. But it's coming closer and closer to the home and like similar feelings. So I just want to share that as we like on my way to this meeting, it was like another sign. So
What
and
street do
after
you,
that, I will call to the police to report Belinda. I didn't have time yet to do it, but I will.
Where do you
what
live?
street do you live
I'm
on?
on a Pine Grove Street,
Pine Grove.
Which is off of Central, right?
which is off Central, but on the other hand, like it's the far end of Pine Grove that is like farther from Central. So it seems that it's becoming like a,
Where was the stop sign?
so it's a genocide, which the police couldn't tag as hate crime because it doesn't have like specific, it doesn't say who should like genocide, but and now the one here, I didn't read it yet. Like again, my kid just told me about it. It says genocide and something else next to it. So I will go after this meeting and see what exactly is written on that one.
Where was that stop sign?
The stop sign, it was a hillside in Honeywell.
Oh, yeah.
It was like few houses from my home, and now it's like really in the sign that this one is not some stop sign, it's like a drive safe, like a like kids on the way or something like that, closer to my home.
Do you have a sign outside? Any signs outside?
Yes, I have like the hostages, like brings them home sign and blue ribbons. Unfortunately, I know two people that are in the hostages, so I feel committed to tell their story, and I don't want to hide it. And but I don't also like want to be scared about like showing my support to these families.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're sorry, Amy, that you're going through this too. It's terrible.
And I really appreciate the discussion here. I really appreciate everything that was like the ideas and what was saying. So thank you for that.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that with us.
Could I just ask you the same question that I asked before? Are there things that you would find supportive that the town or the community could do?
So I think that the ideas that I just heard here, it's like aligned with what I would think it's a good response. Like instead of like, okay, we are just to show that the people that if they do that, they actually get people more united instead of trying to divide us. I think that's like make a lot of sense. So if a person doing that and say, okay, I will like scare somebody or I will divide the community, and instead of you will see like a reaction that Jewish and non-Jewish and like everyone together are like more supportive. I think it will be just like the reaction that probably the opposite from that what this person wanted to achieve.
Good point.
I like that sense.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
for
you.
coming.
Thank you.
Thanks, I'm gonna move you over. That means nobody else is looking good.
But there's
Okay.
still several people on.
Yes,
Yeah, they just
they're
don't.
not here for public comment.
Yeah, but it's interesting to see who's there.
Okay. I think in the interest of time, we should move down to the next item on the agenda. I don't know if you all got it. I sent around the complaint that came from Reverend Katie Scudera. And I'm sorry, I just got it this
I
afternoon.
sent it to you as soon as I got it.
Yeah, and I sent it out as soon as I saw your email, so,
And she just sent it to Tina and then I remembered.
I am not sure. Cynthia, do you feel comfortable talking about this?
I might be able to summarize it. I don't know.
Did you guys see it?
Yeah.
I mean, Tina also talked to me about it yesterday. Is she?
I didn't see it.
You guys can see it there, okay.
Was it circulated?
It was
I
on
just
email.
It was just-
emailed it right before
Just
the
before the meeting.
Yeah.
meeting.
Oh, okay. I
Did
thought
you
I did.
want something? I've heard it presented at the Clergy Association.
Go ahead, because you heard it more directly and I heard it through Tina, so.
Okay. To remember, I think it was a Sunday evening, which is less important. She's filled out the form in very completely, but try to summarize it. Reverend Katie Scudera and the intern minister and the youth leader were at a youth group meeting on a Sunday evening, and this man came into, he's unidentified. They don't know who he is. Came into the church and they were able to talk with him. Keep him from at least going to where the young people were. And he said he wanted to speak to someone who knew about our signs. He meant our Let Gaza Live sign. And I said that I was the pastor and could speak with him and asked him to come back at another time, and the other sign was United Against Islamophobia and Anti-Semitism. And you see the other things, like they then launched into a diatribe about how our signs were disgusting and evil and telling us that he said the death toll numbers in Gaza were faked by Hamas and asking us a lot of things. And they were asking him to leave. And I mean, they talked to them about their faith, tradition, commitment to sanctity of life, worth and dignity of every person. And he was unable to have a productive conversation. He was in constant motion, perhaps inebriated. They couldn't figure it out. So he did not say he was affiliated with the House of Worship. They clarified they were leading a youth group and they did not have time to talk with him about Israeli-Palestinian conflict and offered to talk another time. He didn't leave, and then they pointedly asked him to leave. And fortunately, he did. At that point, a young man who was a lay leader with the youth group came, which may have encouraged him to leave. They then went around the church to make sure he hadn't come back in and locked all the doors. And they talked with their congregation safety team and also told the leaders of the Needham Muslim neighbors. And they are going to submit a report to the police. She said they didn't know, but I said, please do. This is really important because perhaps they know of this person. Perhaps other people may be in danger from them. Perhaps this is a person in need of services of some sort.
And they
Yeah.
do have video footage according to
Yep.
this, which is great.
So, then what do they want? It was very disturbing. They felt threatened by this. And, to berate what they had, as a house of worship. And they're concerned that he may do this in other houses of worship or residences displaying Let Gaza Live signs.
They actually locked the door when they checked the building to make sure that he had left.
Yeah, I
And
did
then-
say that. And they'll lock the doors.
Yeah.
So we hope that the town of Needham will keep track of Islamophobic and anti-Palestinian sentiments and take steps to protect Muslim residents and promote respect and neighborliness in our diverse town. So they have a congregation safety team. So this is, to me, hearing this, it's more than just somebody saying, I don't like your sign. That it was intruding and threatening.
Definitely. Shouldn't be.
I have a question. our police representative. I'm assuming that all the houses of worship have things in place that if there is an incident, that, the police, should be called immediately. I just don't know. I'm just wondering, has there been more emphasis on the Muslim community and the Jewish community as opposed to a community that's quote unquote not directly involved with some of the hate that's going on, to make sure that all the houses of worship feel safe in this community?
Sorry, trying to listen to the radio too. All the officers, they have a high presence at all the houses of worship, and we do make it a point every shift to drive into all the temples. And we do security checks there. As far as what they have in place for their protocol, that's up to them. I would have liked a phone call right away when this man was on the property than waiting, and they did come in. She did file the report today, and that's being worked on now. But it's the delay that it's so much better, like when it's happening. And they are looking at the video footage too. So, we do with the Temple Beth and Temple Elia, they meet with the leaders there and they go over safety plans. And a lot of them, they are really in tune with the protection aspect of it versus other churches in town. But we can't speak for every house of worship to have something in place, but we have a good relationship with all of them.
Go ahead.
I'm curious about, she's marked sex under what rights were violated. She marked sex as well as religious views under what rights were violated.
Yeah.
But I don't think she mentioned why.
Good question.
Yeah,
My guess is she said that he was not going away until a young man came. And so some of the intimidation and threat to her felt like because she was a female. She didn't say that, but I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
But that would be, if we're looking at our form and where we go next, that would be a very good question to ask.
Yeah.
And that she felt that having the signs reflected where they're at as a religious community and wanting to have, people's rights to their different religions and ethnicities and countries, of course, being respected.
when I read this, I mean, Tina had told me about it.
Yeah.
But then when I read this, it looks to me not so much that she's asking us to respond, but that we should make note. So that when we have statistics, that this is noted. And even if Liat didn't fill out a formal complaint, that this is noted. And I guess my question I was thinking about, are our statistics gonna go into the annual report? I think they should. So,
Who's keeping the statistics?
well, that's a good question.
Ye who made the form. Yeah,
Well,
right.
no, Tina and I mean, guess haven't worked that far, I guess but we haven't, whoever is working on it, but we need, I want to make sure that that's noted in the minutes, that, we have 2 incidents here. So of people being discriminated against. So it's just interesting that coming from both sides, it's
Yeah,
just really,
it is.
but I want to make sure because I don't think she's asking us, she wants just us to, it's like information for us because the police are involved and she brought it up to the Clergy Association. But I think it's really important as a Human Rights Committee, that the town knows that this happened and then we put it into the annual report. I'm looking at you, Amelia.
If someone would like to keep track of that, I would be glad to. help
You,
write it up.
you put it in, yeah.
Yeah, I would, I think, no, I think that would be an important
I
addition.
think it
I
definitely.
mean, that is relevant.
Yeah.
And she,
To our
when
current-
asked what she wanted, it says here, we hope that the town of Needham will keep track of Islamophobic and anti-Palestinian sentiments and actions and take steps to protect Muslim residents and promote respect and neighborliness in our diverse town. So we've been hearing a lot about anti-Semitic action and acts, and we know that that has increased incredibly. But she's saying, let's be sure we don't miss this other.
This, and I mean, there are other groups that are.
What's also interesting, because I'm thinking, Belinda, does the police department keep track of reports of hate crimes?
Oops.
We're busy, so I'm trying to mute when I can. Our data analyst keeps track of everything now.
So, and would those just be incidents that rose to the level of being criminal activity, or would that be any kind of incident of bias or hate that doesn't get to that level of being a crime?
Any type of incident, I believe, yes.
So that would be one, sorry, I'm just trying to think of where would you collect this data, in the schools? Is someone doing that in the schools?
Well, I'm just thinking in terms of us, who comes to us.
Oh, I see,
So,
okay,
you know,
okay,
who comes to us.
okay.
I mean, I don't think it's our
Oh,
job
that's,
to
easy
to
then.
do the whole, everything.
Okay,
It's
I
only,
was thinking you.
no, just,
That would be a pretty interesting
Yeah.
comparison though,
Yeah.
to see.
that would be interesting for someone in the town to do maybe, but not.
Research.
I think the police do report it in their annual report.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they have an annual report.
I think it's
Yeah,
And that
a
would
few
include
years,
school stuff?
No, it would include, anything that goes direct to the police,
Well, I
which
know-
if there's a, depending on what the incident is at the school, the police may also be involved, but.
Yeah,
Well, I know
any report of it, that's what our statistics are based on. And I believe she forwards that information to the state monthly.
isn't there one person in each police department who's supposed to be the person like a civil rights or whatever? This was several years ago. The state came up with this and that they were doing training and there's supposed to be one person in each department to handle things and also to report back.
They're supposed to be, but I'm not going to speak on every department. We do our best.
No, I mean, in terms of Needham, yeah, but-
Correct. No, we're definitely covered and we do file everything with the state. Yes.
Jen, can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
It's in the, I think it's in the topic and it may, I mean, I know we're saying that there's video footage of this incident. But I have Ring cameras at home, like so many of us do. And I remember seeing at some point that they had some kind of neighborhood public safety service thing that they were trying to put out in conjunction with the police department, where I think I was just reading about it and I can't remember, wasn't able to see where it's at right now, but it's like 2,500 safety agencies throughout the country have like teamed up with Ring and Neighbors app. Because I mean, I get notifications on my phone when people see a coyote that crosses over the Ring camera or somebody reports it.
Yeah.
So maybe that would be some way to, like, maybe there's, I don't know if Belinda could speak if they've ever looked into anything like that, because you know, so many of these things are on someone's video somewhere. And you know, we should be using this kind of technology. I mean, it makes us all feel safer at our homes, right? So if we teamed it all up together and there was some way to tie it into what the police have available to them, or at least make it available to them and alert neighbors of these kind of incidents, like right when they happen, because I can imagine every minute that goes by, the likelihood of figuring out, unless it's on video, the likelihood of figuring these things out just diminishes, right?
Right. But I can honestly say that the video footage in the town square and the centers, I mean, that's all been phenomenal for us. But when you start getting into the neighborhoods, that's where it becomes more difficult. But with people getting more and more Ring cameras, that's helpful. So anytime there is an incident, the officers do canvass the neighborhoods and go house to house for their Ring footage.
Yeah, it's interesting. I see this thing, neighbors, public safety service, and there's a way that we can contact them to see if our public safety agency wants to be a part of.
Yeah,
that
there's some kind of
program.
program for it, and there's a way
Yeah.
to connect to it, if something happens to your house, that you can alert other houses.
Just to
I've
be
seen
more
that,
efficient, right? You know, so you don't have to really, I mean, it's probably nice to knock on everyone's door and let them know what's going on anyway, but.
Yeah, and there are like 10 different systems.
But
It's-
aren't there some issues of privacy?
Well, I mean, I think it's one of those things where you
Individual
opt
rights?
in. Well, I think if you opt in, right, because the cameras are generally just facing out into the public. So. I think that's what they're saying. I mean, it looks like the program is still active and it's got lots of users, so.
Well, I would defer to the police department, because I'm sure they think about this all the
Yeah.
time. Or a lot.
I took down the notes. I don't know the first thing about Ring. Not the right person.
Well, thank you, Belinda, for making note of it, because, like we're saying, I think. Anything we can do to make our community at least feel like there are more eyes out there.
Mm.
I think as long as you're not doing anything wrong, I don't mind, you can watch me in front of my house all day, right? So if you're not doing anything wrong, I think people can opt in or opt out, I suppose.
Such a sad statement about.
I know,
about this
exactly, I
time,
know what you mean, yeah.
You know,
yeah,
to
that's
live
right.
like this,
Yeah.
to be in fear, to have cameras everywhere, it just, I mean, you know, maybe I just sound like an old woman, but, it just, you know, not the way we want our
Right,
kids
exactly.
to have to grow up, or we wanna have to live our lives, it's just, I'm sorry, it's.
No, I go on my technology, man, because I feel like there are ways to use these kind of products that are out there, and if towns and people opt into it.
Yeah,
And that helps, right? Because that's what we're saying, you know, these incidents happen, you ran out and you got as many cameras as you can.
Yeah,
So if we had a town, with, you know, effort in making those available. Something, I suppose.
You'll have a really big brother.
Yeah, I mean, at least when you're walking in the
At least he
street.
said it.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe it's a different conversation.
If they can access it, that's good. I don't know how everybody.
I could, is your kids playing in your yard, your kids are smoking cigarettes.
Right.
Or they have weed or
Right.
whatever, I don't
I
know,
know, yeah.
do you want that on
I
there?
can't imagine my kids are like following me home.
Our
you know,
neighbors.
like, he's not going away, okay.
Running
They're already
through the yard, and they're like, the younger one's like 5. I said, wait, where's your adult? Oh, my brother's here. I said, wait a minute, but then anyway.
Yeah.
We talked-
It's that
We talk
opting in,
with
right?
people, because we all know each other, so
Yeah.
it's
I
that.
think it's that opting in, that's how
Yeah,
these services all work, right? You click on that, I accept the terms and conditions, I give you my video footage and.
Yeah, so
Fine,
maybe-
it's something.
Moving on to
I
the
think
agenda.
when I read it, I think it was something like that, when
Yeah.
an incident like this happens,
Yeah.
then the police then have access and know every house immediately that has that
That's
camera.
exactly what it is.
And then they can contact that person immediately and request footage from
Call some
them.
police,
But
yeah.
instead of having to go door to door and be like,
Yes,
do you have
exactly
Ring, or
right.
do you have Arlo, do you have
Yeah.
Amazon, or?
That's
you know?
right.
So what do we say to Katie? We say we'll be interested to hear what happens with the police report, and that we hear it as part of a concern, broader concern in our community.
I mean,
Okay.
it's not my decision, for sure. I guess what I'm taking away from this conversation that we've been having for the last hour is that there seems to be a really strong need for the community to come out with some kind of visible messaging that confronts both of these different, that, you know, that they're both messages of hate, kind of on the just ideologically opposite sides of the fence, but that what it sounds like is that the trying to help people feel more confident and in their community and safe is something that we may be able to impact in some way. And I say that because I feel like we can't make anybody feel safe, right? But you know, and I don't know, does a lawn sign rise to the level of the hurt that is happening here? But in realizing what we can do and what we can't do, I don't know, do you know if the select board is like, I'm guessing that this is the larger political debate going on is not something that they want to go anywhere near, understandably, but is this idea of how do we help our community heal and feel safe here, is that something that's on their radar? Or is that, are we the vehicle to get it on their radar? Because what seems like what we do.
I think it's a both and, I mean, definitely they hear stories, but I don't know that they've heard the the 3 stories that we've heard tonight. I have not previously heard them except what was posted on Facebook, which is different, like it's, right. So I don't know if they have heard these stories directly, so I think you all have heard them, and so if you want to
Mhm.
communicate to the select board, there of course would be value to that. I think thus far the statements they've made at previous board meetings have been along the lines of the statement that this committee made, which is like they did put out a statement and react when incidents happened in Needham, right? So not talking about
Right,
the
right,
broader
right,
kind of geopolitics of it, but when there's an incident in Needham, so there was at Temple Beth Shalom, I forget when it was, there was a
It's in the
scare.
fall.
Bomb scare.
There was a
Yeah,
bomb
that
scare,
was-
and they reacted because there was an incident that happened in Needham.
November.
And they, similar to
At
your
Sunday school.
statement that you all put
And
out,
we
was
would
like,
just
we're gonna
say,
focus
and
on how to
we
make people
and
here
yeah.
feel safe. So I feel like for me, hearing these today, I had not heard them previously. I don't know if select board members have. They certainly haven't in a formal meeting, but so if you know, I think there's value in them.
I wonder how expensive, those flags that they put up around town, like,
The banners, the
Yeah,
ones
banners, yeah.
yeah.
that hang down.
Yeah, how
Yeah.
expensive those are.
Oh, that's a good idea.
We got them for the Pride and
Right.
they own them and put
Hopefully
them
they're
back
going up
up.
soon.
I think Rebecca Young knows how much.
What's
And we
Needham's
have some other
slogan?
ones in the fall for diversity.
Like, what is the slogan of Needham, you know, like?
We don't
We
have
haven't
one.
had one. Cynthia's on that committee as
working
well.
on that.
No tagline.
Something that,
And, I'd love to see it say, we're inclusive or welcoming. But
Okay.
I'm thinking about ongoing efforts that we're making, and we have the community conversations on race. Maybe we need a community conversation on hate. We're meeting at the end of the planning committee is going to meet in a couple of weeks. And the focus is, well, we probably won't have time to discuss a debriefing, but we're seem to be focusing on housing, which is a big issue.
We hadn't decided. That's
No,
one
we
possibility.
hadn't, but it's sort of been leaning in that direction. But anyway, we're open to other suggestions. So that might be
Yeah.
an opportunity for us to think about bringing the community together.
Mhm.
I'm thinking, wouldn't it be great if we could get this person that came to First Parish in a room and sit down at a table and be able to talk to other people in a civil way and really listen to what that person is saying and try and figure out where are they coming from.
Yeah,
And
unfortunately.
that is something we have not been successful at doing.
No.
NDI hasn't, we haven't been successful.
Unfortunately, that particular person probably wouldn't, it wouldn't work, but this was what most of the clergy association meeting was about last time, was what can we do for the community to help people to listen to one another, to find a way to work things out so that you don't agree, but you can have respect. And looking into various programs, there's the Braver Angels that one of the clergy had taken part in.
I went to a training of theirs.
Yeah.
At First Parish.
Yeah, Essentials, I can't remember the rest of that we used the model for one of the 3 meetings we had prior to doing the vigil, which was done online. It was recorded because people felt that we could not guarantee safety for participants in it. And so at the meeting on Tuesday, we had Dr. Huma Farid, who's Muslim representative, and we had rabbis and representatives from Baha'i and Christian and other groups. But that's the main thing we were talking about, how this could be done, and we're saying, well, probably having it not at a house of worship would make it easier for people. And then we talked about the possibility of having like a panel or representatives, because maybe when you break people up into groups, it would be hard to find people who weren't so upset that they could have a conversation. So then they need, switching to another group, Need and Resilience Network, the follow-up group, community response. Trying to remember not Katie, who was there. That's one of the issues they were talking about, is can we do something for the community that has to do with this tremendous ongoing international conflict that affects so many people. So it is definitely something that everybody who has their eyes open sees that we should be doing something about.
I think what we need to do is have something that's supportive of the community. I don't think that we're gonna get the people who are the perpetrators. They wouldn't come to something like this.
Mhm.
We also don't even know if the perpetrators live in this town. You know, we don't know anything about that. So conversations are great. But if we are hoping to get people to sit down together, these are not the kind of people who are gonna do that, in my opinion, based on the experiences that we've had.
Yeah, maybe focus, and maybe, I know you're just throwing up like the, community conversation on hate, but maybe the idea is on unity or something that has a positive message to it, right? Because those are the people that are gonna show up.
Even unity,
I know Bud's had his hand up for a bit.
That's okay. All this being said, I would like to know, because I think we're all pretty upset by what we heard tonight. What is the mechanism to let every select board person know what transpired tonight? I think it's incumbent upon us not to wait a week, 2 weeks, or a month for them to know. I think it needs to be communicated as soon as possible so they're aware of this being brought to our attention.
Well, the meeting has been recorded, so the first part of the meeting would.
I understand that, but the meeting's recorded. I personally do not know if every member of the select board listens to our meeting. I think whether it's a motion or whatever's necessary, I would like them to know no later than tomorrow or next week that this took place. Because I think it's serious enough and important enough for our elected officials to know this.
Actually, Mary Ann has open hours. Was it tomorrow? I don't know. It was just in,
News of the town.
yeah, it was in the news of the town.
News you need have.
Yeah. So that might be the place to go. I don't know if I have, but each of those select board members have these open office hours.
Let's ask Katie, how do we get?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly can send them a note and flag the recording. Tina's in regular contact with them all of the time. I know she's out of town, but I just, I hear your urgency. We can make sure they're aware.
That sounds good. Both, they sound good.
Yeah, I think it would be good if somebody went, I think I just trashed it. So I don't know when it is. Do you know, Katie, when Mary Ann's open hours
I
are?
think they used to be Thursday.
I'm pretty sure Mary Ann is the next one I
Yeah.
just saw listed today. Because, to go to one and then they can share it with everyone.
I mean, we could probably send her Reverend Scudera's since in writing.
And then the other would be good.
Or to send it to Kevin, he's now chair, so I don't know.
And then it would be good to listen to, because we haven't written it down.
Twenty-third at 4:30.
Yeah.
Hi there,
When
yeah,
is-
it's still there.
May 23rd at 4:30.
That's next Thursday.
That's next Thursday.
So sooner is better.
Yeah, sooner than.
I wanted to circle back to the idea that we were talking about a little while ago with the pledge.
But they had it and made it.
Right, yes. I wonder if we could come up with some kind of similar idea and had like a day where maybe folks on the Need and Resilience Network, NDI, Human Rights Committee, maybe some of the elected officials are standing around he's gonna hate this because it's a clipboard and not a computer thing. Maybe there's a way to do it on the computer that way savvier.
I'm thinking. Go ahead, Jen.
Yeah, people did sign on both.
But I'm
rights
thinking
and
like, if,
they-
I'm like imagining if you're standing outside, at the dump, at the grocery store, or at Dunkin' Donuts or something, and, Carrie and I are sitting there like, hey, we are asking everybody to sign this pledge, maybe, there's a visual way that we can
Mhm.
present it, and now that we don't have a newspaper anymore, I don't know what that is.
Oh, we have the Needham Observer.
I'm not sure what it looks like, but I'm thinking like. In addition to getting the visual of having all these people's names signed on to this pledge, I'm not sure what we're pledging exactly, but. That you also have the opportunity to have that one-on-one conversation, like, why are you here? Well, I'm here because our Needham neighbors are hurting
Mhm.
with what's been happening, and. Give it some personal time.
There might be a way businesses could be involved. I was part of a group in Framingham where we went from business to business, asking them to display it and saying that they would welcome as to their business, people of all races, nationalities, genders, background. And Framingham is very diverse, and it really meant something. And we had a pledge thing for them to sign, and then we gave them the thing to put in their window. So it was kind of powerful to walk down the Framingham Center Street and see all the businesses that have this in their window.
I think that's a really
Yep.
good idea. Unfortunately, I don't think we can really do anything until the fall. I
I
think,
mean, like,
and what?
I know, like, to,
And
like,
that
really
seems-
plan it, but like, is there a way to like simplify it to make it?
I don't know, is it
More
possible?
timely?
I mean, it just, people start to go away, people don't pay attention, it's, I don't know, just,
Right, starting Memorial Day, means goes town on the weekends.
yeah.
I get that, but I feel like for us to do this in the fall, it's gonna be like,
It's
No,
like
I totally agree.
after the fact, and I agree, I just,
It's like there's a fire and you say, well, let's relook at our exits for fire saves and so forth. No.
I don't, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
no,
mean
I
to be a
totally-
wet blanket, I just.
I totally get what you're saying. That's why I'm just thinking, like, I don't know, is there a super simple way of doing?
Well, maybe,
There are kids
when does
who
the
play.
farmer's market start? That's like the only thing I
Yeah.
can, the dump and the farmer's market are like two community things. July 4th is another place.
Yeah.
I mean, that's about democracy and freedom, and I don't know, there's something we could do. Maybe the Exchange Club wants
Yeah.
to work on it.
Yeah.
Yep,
So
exchange.
the Needham Resilience Network, wasn't that the idea that this was like all these groups,
Yep,
one place to be like, here, go, we're gonna do this?
yep, and we had the discussion about how to do that. And this was one of the areas, but
So is it operational?
uh.
I know that. We would have to skip the multicultural festival. Keith, do you
No.
want to give us the update on that?
Date's fine, we're gonna vote on them, I think, tonight.
Yeah, what do we have to?
We got 10 minutes. so
Yeah.
let's-
Yeah, maybe you can give us the dates.
We've got 2 dates, Jen, do you want to, well, no, I don't wanna, you have the fine agenda, I don't wanna, so you wanna just.
She said,
No, I was just curious, I
Okay.
was just curious.
Yeah, should
It
we?
is kind of part of the same
Yeah, we
effort
should-
to show more
Yeah, we
unity
should.
and
Yeah.
diversity.
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Yeah, I mean, so the 2 dates that, our principal site has been great, and we finally narrowed down 2 dates that were open. So either the first Sunday in October, which is October 6th, or the third Sunday in October, which is October 20th. And we tried to be sensitive to the busy time of year at the beginning of the year when school's just
Yeah,
getting started.
September.
So,
Not good.
yeah, to weave through the holidays and the other,
When is the Harvest Festival?
oh, that's a good question.
it's usually that first weekend. isn't it?
I don't know.
It might be that, it's on a Saturday usually.
It's usually the first Saturday of October.
that
So
would be
the 20th
5th.
would probably be better. As long as it's not, it's the week after Columbus Day, which is now Indigenous Peoples'
Indigenous
Day.
Peoples' Day.
Yay, town.
So I think it's October 1st this year. Harvest Fair event, is that right?
October 1st is a
Charles
Tuesday.
River
so that's-
Regional Chamber organizes it
Oh, that's right.
together with the town of Needham.
Would it be on is there a town calendar, Katie? would have it.
Probably not booked that far out,
Really?
until the organization like makes
Oh.
it official
Books it,
of the
okay.
chamber, yeah.
So can we pre-approve either of those dates and that they will check to make sure it's not conflicting with the harvest fair?
So that's the town Harvest Fair event is the first year.
But it's
right?
it's the.
That's usually on a Saturday though, right?
It's always on a Saturday, but we want to do it the next day.
Yeah,
And
that'll,
I think that's asking too much, especially when families,
no,
because families come to the harvest. You know,
right.
there's all kinds of stuff for kids and it's a fun day for families. I don't know that. Well, people with young kids, so you got, right, would you come to two things?
In the same day? I mean,
No,
One
one day
after
after
the
the other. You've got
Oh.
young kids.
I mean, sometimes we're so desperate, I mean, so my kids are a little bit older, so we have a lot of sporting things to go to, but. But besides that, I mean, I remember when they were very little, absolutely, we were desperate to do
To do
anything on the
anything,
weekends, yeah. So the more events, the better. It's when we used to go to everything.
Yeah, when they're little.
So Charles, it's Charles River.
Yeah, I didn't see
whatever
it on their calendar yet. They only
So
go-
can we pre-approve both of those and then you
Sure.
can see?
Yeah, as long as I wanted to make sure that nobody in this room saw anything that I didn't for those, either of those dates. But that's the two dates that we got that were okay by the school, so I thought. The sooner we hone in on the date, then the rest of
So
the
if,
work.
if the festival is on the 5th, then I would suggest we approve
Right.
the 20th.
That sounds good to me, so whatever, we'll dodge their event, basically.
Yeah, so
Okay.
maybe you could contact
Sure.
them and just ask what date they're.
Absolutely, will do.
If you want to go, we sort of covered community conversations on race, that we're having a debriefing meeting, this is the 26th, and we can give,
28th, yeah.
yeah. And you asked about Needham Resilience Network, which is now, it's still there, but then there's the community response, and I forget what the third word is. And essentially, it was a really good meeting, and it's supposed to be available when something comes up, but in the meantime, there'll be maybe twice a year that everybody will check in to make sure that the connections are still alive. So it's in process of forming, but the connections are there. So if something happens, it can be activated. That's my.
So wouldn't
understanding.
this be something that would be good to bring to them?
Yeah.
I think it's a multi-group thing through the town, and I see, as I said, the clergy association is working on that. I think that. I don't know, you don't want to really start more groups, but I think that would be a good group to go to, and because we have, Tina and I are part of
But
that.
would they be able to move quickly enough?
I mean, I thought that was the whole point of that.
I did too, but you know,
But from what
I
I've
mean,
heard, it's not.
I've heard, well, I was there, so.
Okay,
You have to create something before, you have to create the bike before you can go on the race. But the race needs to be run and, you know, so,
not quite ready for project.
and I just want to make sure people know about the, oh, was it on here? The announcement about the, suitcase stories?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tina wanted us to vote.
yeah, but you made a good point. It's our meeting is that night.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
last month, somebody said, Tina said.
Tina
"Let's-"
said we should all go to it.
I don't have copies of this, but it was sent out to
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
Tina sent it to us.
And,
I mean,
the problem is if you go to that and you don't have the meeting, then we have things we need to do and
Yeah, I
how do we
agree.
do that?
Yeah, I think we need a June meeting.
can we support it even if we don't go to it? That's the question. I mean, the
Yeah,
vote-
it's, the vote is on sponsorship according to.
Yeah.
the-
So,
Partner.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
but-
would
Partners.
but they're
100% sponsor. I mean,
They're only asking a few groups. It's not a gigantic number. They're asking,
but is it bad if we support it and we?
I think that
But
we
we don't-
should find a
We
way.
we could probably find another,
That's what I was thinking,
I think
another
we
day,
should-
and we could do that by mail, right? We don't have to do it tonight.
Okay.
So
Um,
anyway, I move
so-
that we co-sponsor or sponsor the suitcase stories.
I second.
Okay.
Now we have to have a vote.
Tina's not here. Cynthia,
Yes.
Marlene.
Yes.
Amelia,
Yes.
Bud,
Yes.
Keith,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Emmy. Yes. And
Yes.
I am also a yes.
And they have at least
passes.
3 suitcase storytellers who are from Needham, which is great.
Okay, so that,
And it will be at Wellesley College. It's Trish. I got Tishman Commons in
Richmond
the,
Commons,
in
in the
the,
campus
what?
center.
yeah, that's evidently a very good environment for that.
It's
kind of
really
thing.
nice. I just was at a program.
And it's, the parking garage is right across.
So can I ask what, I saw that there was a charge to go.
Yes,
Right,
we had
so-
tickets last year.
Are they raising money for the Needham Community Council? Is that what the money's going for?
Unfortunately, it costs a lot, so,
Yeah, they'd mentioned it. What was it?
Oh, so it's just to
$25.
pay to have them
Yeah.
come?
yeah, it was $15 last time. Any rate, I said I would not be on the committee this time. I spent a good deal of my life on the committee, the last one, and
Good for you, Cynthia.
and I don't, I've already given them out to other places.
Well, it would be nice to know what the money's going for.
A lot of it is to pay for the program.
I thought it was mentioned in one of the
Yeah,
emails we got.
but that's, I just happen to know that, but.
I mean,
It's too bad.
I agree, though, we do need a meeting, so if we can't find another date, because it's a lot of people, but we should have the meeting as planned.
Okay, I'll let him know.
Okay. And you had some,
What is it? The co-chair.
I think,
Yeah.
June, we do elections.
When's the last time we had an election?
When
That's exactly the
Tina
point.
became chair.
That was more like a, can you do this?
it's recruitment, it's not election.
I really do think it is important for us to spend some time talking about it, so I think we should put it on the agenda for the next meeting. And also for everybody to think hard, deep in their hearts, because God bless Tina, she has been carrying a huge load by herself, and not by herself, I know like everybody's doing a lot of stuff,
But
but
it's different. with
it's
you.
it was meant to be a two-person thing, and
It should.
it hasn't been for a long time.
A long time.
Yes.
So I think we should really try to figure out just how to support ourselves better so that
Mhm.
nobody gets to the point where they feel burnt out.
Mhm.
Can we make that as an agreement that we want to have co-chair?
I mean, I think that that's already, it's in our bylaws. I think that
Well,
we
but
need
there's
somebody to
different-
say that they'll
there's
do it.
Co-chairs and there's a like a vice president or
I
whatever.
think it's listed as like a vice chair.
Yeah, like a vice chair,
Oh.
but then we had the model when Amelia and I did it, that was the first time. No, I did it with Sandra.
Oh, yes.
She was the co with me and then Amelia was, so.
In any event, I definitely think we should talk. about it.
Yeah, at least, and it would depend on the person. Somebody might prefer co and somebody might prefer assistant.
Yeah.
So it's a
But I-
personal kind
I
of, so when it's on
think
a committee?
that Tina
We haven't
still
figured it out yet. This
is
Okay.
committed to leadership. That, from what I understand, I think she's still committed to.
I think, I haven't talked with her about it at all. I just was thinking. she
Of the
needs some
reality.
support.
Yeah, she needs
The reality.
She needs some support.
But we are supposed to have elections annually, I think.
Really?
I think we are. I do think.
I think we are, if we are doing it the right
Whoops,
way.
let's ask Kate.
I honestly
Let's
don't
have.
know,
Jessica.
I don't know that this committee has its own bylaws or policies.
We
I don't
do.
think so.
The town
We do.
meeting.
I don't-
Laws.
Where do those live?
I don't know. I'll look. But
I've
I,
been here 4 years.
So when.
Do we, no, serious question. Do you all think you have
I
bylaws?
do think we do.
I think
Okay,
we
we
do.
should find them, memorialize them, follow them. Um, No, I've never heard this before, so I just, as my last act, I will say, if these exist.
But
Uh,
it means that
where
it's
do they
for
live?
all town, maybe all town committees are supposed to have a chair, a clerk, et cetera, no?
there are some have specific rules, but no, there's not kind of universal. So a lot of committees and boards, they vote their own policies.
Yeah, I don't
Okay,
see it
so-
online.
I just didn't know that.
So I
we-
think that's probably what we do.
We had something, it
We
was
did have-
spiral
I feel like-
bound
We did
Yeah.
have
10 years ago.
We did have something, and do you still have all the files at your house? Cause I think, didn't I bring them to your house when you became chair?
Probably, but then I think when I was not chair, I think I must have delivered them to somebody else, so I'm not sure. who.
This
Maybe.
could be like the
Maybe
history
Christina.
museum.
Maybe Tina, I don't know, we'll have to figure that out.
Okay, but I would also think that maybe we should look through the town and see if there's.
I think I might have.
I remember when we had this whole thing with the clerk, because we were supposed to have a clerk. There used to always be a clerk, and we couldn't get anybody to be clerk, and that's when I came
To
up with
take
the
all the minutes all
idea
the time.
of rotating, because there was one person who did it every time, and this was the only way we could get it.
But that was years ago when it was Paul Delariva.
No.
No,
What's-
when I first came on with Amelia, Paul was the chair,
The chair,
and there was
a
a
clerk,
woman who did all,
Right.
Marcia, I can't remember.
Frame like or something.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
she did it all the time, and we said nobody wanted to do that, so we.
Right, well,
So why don't we do it for how we want it then?
let's see about.
Yeah, I just put it on there to say, let's make sure that it gets on the June agenda.
Okay.
But as we wrap up, we have a very important thank you and goodbye to you two, who I have to say, I'm impressed that you could keep your attention on this space for this long right now, with all that you guys have
Right.
going on right now.
Yeah.
We have been so honored to have you guys here and really appreciated the perspective that you guys gave us. I felt like we had like high school inside scoop listening to what you guys said, and just know that, we really appreciate the time that it takes for you guys to be here and the outreach that you have to do on the other side to bring us the, scoop that you were able to do.
And the activities they've been involved in too.
Yeah, thank you for supporting us and showing us something like this, which is like such a unique experience, and
Yeah.
I think we both learned a lot. I think it's definitely shown us something that we're proud to have, which is to stand up for what we believe, which I don't think a lot of people know how to do yet, so at our age, so.
Our age, so.
Still learning.
No, it's really.
And not to mention the sneak peek you got into town government, which is riveting. Way more riveting than you thought. it
So,
was gonna be, like-
you wanna run?
I heard it's
Now,
now.
once you're 18, you probably run for time.
Oh, thanks.
So thank you guys so much.
So much.
We wish you so much fun.
Yeah.
Always come back and visit us
Thank you.
when you're big stars out there at CC in Michigan.
I'll be nearby. I mean, I'll probably be home a few times.
Laundry and
Hi.
food.
Rights work at school.
Right.
Hopefully.
I have announcements of my own for you all.
Okay.
So, well, first of all, I won't be around because my parents are moving to Hartford. My dad's gonna be president of the University of Hartford.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
so that's really exciting. I'm obviously going to Michigan, but, if anybody wants to stop by for graduation at 5, I'm one of the student speakers. So you can come see, and
That's great.
then I will graduate.
She's a great speech.
Congratulations.
But
That's awesome.
thank you all so much for allowing us in, welcoming us, listening to us. It means a lot.
Well, you were part of
We
the team.
appreciate you, yes.
Yeah, I think your voice is, I think filling your roles for the next year, it's gonna be super important, because having your voices in here, I think means a ton.
It's a reality check sometimes.
Yeah, I bet, yeah.
We were holding off, I mean, also just full transparency, like very busy the past few months, and I remember maybe last month or 2 months ago. Tina had mentioned like one of her daughters and her friend were thinking
Yeah.
about taking over.
Yeah.
So we had taken it as like we don't have to pursue any further like
Yeah.
recruitment. So I don't know if that was, I don't
know what happened with that.
Yeah.
so
last-
maybe she has more info.
Yeah, last time she said that, I forget which one of the
Were
daughters
you
was really
sophomores?
interested.
Excuse me. Were you sophomores when you came in?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
And so there's some.
One idea I had at the event that we had a few weeks ago, the conversations on race. I thought the courageous conversations on race student.
Yeah.
The African-American student was fantastic, and
Oh,
I'm
Ed
wondering
Ryan.
if he might
Mhm.
be someone we might
Yeah, I
think
mean, I feel like
about.
that's
Do
definitely
you know
good.
him?
But
I know him.
I think I met his father.
But he's good
Solomon,
happening.
Jim
He's
Solomon.
gonna be a
You
senior.
guys, got him on my
Neighbor,
guys.
Junior.
Yeah.
He's gonna be a junior. Yeah, he's part of the Memorial Committee for Enslaved and Indigenous People, so that I'm on, and Kevin Keane and Corey Bryce and Katie Escudero, a whole bunch of people. So he's been coming to that, and yeah,
That'd be great.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good place. I mean, Mr. Johnson.
unless they've already asked the
Yeah, I
other
mean,
two people.
if need be, I feel like that's a good place to go and just be like, this is a out of school opportunity to be involved in a town.
Yeah, he's very active in a lot of things,
So he might be too busy.
but
No.
you know, people pick and choose, and
That's true.
people who are active.
It sounds like we can still find you guys if we really need you, right? We can still, all right, good. You still have your phone number. It's good.
Jen,
Don't
can I share
change your
just
numbers
a
on
very
us.
quick update? We had Pride on the agenda last month, and I just wanted to let you know, the select board, their next meeting is the 28th, and they'll be doing a Pride proclamation at that, for the town, so.
Excellent.
I just wanted to.
That's
Do you know if at the, what do you call them, the banners or the flags are going back up?
That's the
I think
NDI, does that.
Oh, are they on the town?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the guy doesn't put them up, the town puts them up, right?
Yes, we physically, I think, purchase them and do them,
Yeah,
but
but I thought they
I
purchased
assume
them.
yes, I don't.
And that's Rebecca Young who usually does that, but. Good point to see. That's great. That's the 28th.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, everybody. This is an
And just
important meeting.
remember about the things coming up in June. We meet again, the Race Amity Day on Sunday, June 9th. And the following Sunday, the 16th, is the Newton Has Pride March that will, and party that will start at First Parish Church. Might be 2 o'clock, I'm not sure.
And then
Or
go to
when,
congregation.
and goes to the congregation, same way we've done it before. And are we resubmitting the things on the website for Juneteenth?
I do not have
Tina said
information
something about that,
Yeah, I thought Tina. I don't know.
but the idea there's a lot happening in June, even though there are people away, we can.
I move for adjournment.
I said-
Second, Jen, great job, Jen. Busy meeting.
Who knew it was such a tough meeting? Okay.
We have to
we have
vote,
to
Jen.
all
We
in
have to
favor.
vote. We have to
All those
vote.
in
No.
favor?
No, we have to do it one at a
Roll
time.
call, I
I don't
think.
think we do.
No, I don't think we
Do
do
we,
that.
Katie, have to do adjournment one at a time?
You do because you have a member on Zoom, so any vote.
I'm the only one on Zoom. I have
But
Zoom.
Bud, if you just wanna log off. But maybe your internet cuts out.
Okay, we're voting on whether to adjourn. Bud, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay, Cynthia.
Yes.
Marlene.
Yes.
Amelia.
Yes.
Keith.
Yes.
Carrie.
Yes.
Greg.
Yes.
Emmy.
Yes.
Finn.
And Jen.
Yes, I'm a yes.
And Bud took that home, that's it all night.
Sorry, going down.
It's very nice of him to get his vote first.